Hey there! Welcome to Retro Reloaded. I'm your host Lance, and each week I tackle a retro game shaped by your picks. If you want a chance to choose next week's game or unlock exclusive bonus episodes and polls, join me on Patreon at patreon.com/retroreloaded. There's even a free tier to dip your toes in. Big thanks for all of your love and support. It means the world to me. Now let's hit the start button and reload those retro vibes.
History of Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. Released in 1995 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System by Rare, Donkey Kong Country 2 built on the massive success of the original DKC with a brand new duo, Diddy Kong
and Dixie Kong.
The game pushed the SNES hardware with its pre-rendered visuals and introduced even more secrets, collectibles, and challenging levels. It's often hailed as one of the best 2D platformers ever made. Plot of Diddy's Kong Quest. This time, Donkey Kong has been kidnapped by Captain K. Rool, and it's up to Diddy and his girlfriend Dixie to brave the treacherous Crocodile Isle to save him. From the sticky swamps of Gloomy Gulch to the molten depths of Krem Key, the pair face off against Kremlings and other hazards in an epic quest to rescue their buddy.
Alright, with all that out of the way, we are here with my co-host for the day, Lacey Hartzell. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi. And Marcus, our guest appearance. Welcome to the show, Marcus. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're kind of doing it a little bit different today because normally it's just me and one guest speaker. But today we're kind of doing a little bit different because my voice has been, as a lot of you know, my voice has been really messed up for like the last 3 to 4 weeks. So I'm going to be doing a little less talking, but that's where we brought in a third person today who is going to be kind of my co-host, Lacey. She actually played through the Donkey Kong series as well, Donkey Kong Country 2 as well this week. So she has a retrospective view as well as I do. And so it's going to be fun kind of hearing these different perspectives and different experiences. And Marcus, you're kind of like a veteran in this game, right? In a way?
Yeah, veteran would be a good way to say it.
Okay. How often do you play this game?
At least twice a year.
Okay, so, twice a year. Wow. So you come back to it pretty regularly.
Yeah, it's my like forever game, I would call it. Yeah.
Nice. So can you tell me how you kind of got into this series and like your experience and what when you first played and everything?
Yeah. So the story starts, I guess, in 1998 when I was in the video game store. I think it was Toys R Us, and wanted to get into video games. My family comes from, I guess, I joke that we grew up on the wrong side of the poverty line, and so we didn't have a lot of money going around. And I was getting involved into shenanigans with some kids at school. I got called to the principal's office a couple times. Got an in-school suspension. Nothing serious, elementary school, but still enough for my mom to be like, okay, we got to figure out how to get this kid off the streets, right?
Right.
And so she thought, like not really joking, blue collar Detroit, literally, like actual streets. So I'd been talking about video games a lot, and there were a lot of kids at school that had them, and I couldn't afford them. Or now I couldn't afford them, but she decided that we couldn't have any. This was in the late 90s, so by this point, the Nintendo 64 and the PS1 were out. But when we went in, there was the Donkey Kong Country Super Nintendo edition that had just come out, and so it was like $80 compared to the PS1 and the N64. And I guess Sega Saturn was also a thing at this point, and we were just I think it was 98, but it might have been 99, or like it was early enough that the rumors of the PS2 were around.
Okay.
And so my mom gets me this. It's a Super Nintendo and Donkey Kong Country. And so that's to say that Donkey Kong Country 1, not this game, but number 1 is the first game I ever played. And I still play that game too. I still enjoy it, but I think it's an okay game. Like, if I had a top 20 list of Super Nintendo games, that would be in the top 20, whereas the second game would be in the top 3. You know.
Wow. That's so cool.
And then, so I played through 1, and let me tell you, my first playthrough of 1 took me 2 years to get through, and now I can do it in about an hour. So
Dang.
slightly improved.
How old were you?
I mean, I was single digits.
Right.
I don't want to place myself too much, but I was single digit year old.
Okay.
So I played through that, and then we would pick up other games. We had a local. It's called EB Games, like sort of like a GameStop.
Yes.
But when like there were more than just GameStops, and they had a bargain bin of other games, right? And so my dad told me that with good grades and good behavior, every 2 months I could get one game, and so like that's what I did. These were like, again, Super Nintendo games in an era of PS1, N64, and about to be on the edge of the PS2, and so they're old, but that's all we can afford, right? And so there were a bunch of games there, but not the sequels until eventually somebody sold Donkey Kong Country 3, right? So now I've played through 1. I've gotten a bunch of other games over time, so we're talking about 2-3 years. I love 1, and I find 3, and I play through 3, and I love 3 as well. It's a very different game, and if I had to place that, I would place it top 15. It's better than 1, not as good as 2.
Okay.
And then I get older. I move on beyond the Super Nintendo. I have enough of my own money. I get a GameCube because I'm still a Nintendo fanboy. And then I'm like, but it always irritates me because I've played through 1 and 3, but like in those days, you have the system that you have, and the games that are available locally. Like, this was in the days before the internet was really like everywhere,
Yeah.
And so I knew about 2. I mean, there has to be a 2 because there's a 1 and a 3. I have Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2, but I don't have 3. I mean, sorry, I have 1 and 3, but not 2, right? And so, very bad, but I discovered emulation at this point, and I'm
boy.
like, I cannot legally get access to this game, Nintendo, because it is not in my local EB Games in the year 2002. I don't have access to it. And so I emulated it, right?
Right.
And it was really good. And it was really hard. And I remember just being really excited with the introductory screen. That it's similar to DK1, and it's different, and it's got like this bombastic sound to it. And then what I loved is that it's called, Diddy's Conquest, and that Diddy's center stage, because Diddy was my favorite character from Donkey Kong Country 1, but he's not in 3. And so I'm like,
Right.
what happened to Diddy? Did Diddy die? Like, I don't understand. Like, why? Well, who's this other guy? Because like there's a lot of the fandom that has an issue with Kiddy Kong. Kiddy Kong's never bothered me. I'm like, it's a video game with monkeys that run around and punching crocodiles in the face. Like, I don't understand why you care about a baby monkey. But I was excited when I got 2 because A, it had Diddy, but B, it also had Dixie, and Dixie was my favorite character from Donkey Kong Country 3, right? So I'm like, cool, it's got the best character from 1 and the best character from 2, all wrapped in 1. And what that meant was they could design the levels to be more precision platforming based, because both Donkey Kong and Kiddy Kong in the 1 and 3 are not as agile as the other characters. And so those levels have to all be designed around the idea of, hey, you could have DK or you could have Diddy. You could have Dixie or you could have Kiddy, And so you have to be able to be beaten by both characters. But now you have the fast characters, and one of them has a propeller, so you can make much more difficult levels. And then combined with the fact that in 2 you have a much bigger reason for doing the bonus levels and collecting the other items that are available, because in 1 you don't have a reason to do any bonus levels. But in 2, like all the bonus levels, I don't think that you experience as Lance, but when you collect enough of them, you get like the Donkey Kong coins, and you use those to then get to the Lost World. So
Yeah,
the
I didn't do
100%
that.
completion of the game requires going through the bonus levels. I mean, I don't do that. I did that a couple times when I was younger. I just use the 75 coin glitch now. So I can just get to it, because I like the levels. I don't like the gameplay. But yeah, that's in very short. My history with this game is that since I had access to it, like I've been playing the whole series every year since I got it. But this one in particular, since I picked it up clandestinely through the internet, and then later on, like I now own a physical copy of it too. It's the game that I play every single year, and it's I keep trying to chase the high of the like type of game that this is. Like every single new platform game that I play is like, but is it as good as Donkey Kong Country 2? And the answer has always been no, for one reason or another.
Okay.
It's
I'm kind of
amazing,
yeah,
honestly.
it is amazing. And that's a really interesting story. Like it almost sounds like in a weird way that Donkey Kong Country saved you from the streets. Like
I mean,
Yeah, truly.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, I only had that game for like 3 months, because as I said, like my dad would only get me one game every every 2 months with good grades. And the first set I didn't get good grades. That didn't happen. So like it was like literally like 4 months before I got a second one, and the second game wasn't very good. It was Jurassic Park. I liked it because there was like a
Mhm.
dinosaur on the cover, and dinosaurs are cool,
Right, right.
Dinosaurs.
So yeah, like it kept me out of trouble. It kept me like I would come home, I would play this, I would then do my homework, and then if I had time, I'd go out. So yeah, you're right. It kept me out of trouble. It kept me like in a good academic like track, because then I was motivated to get grades.
Yeah.
Whereas beforehand, like I'm like I don't care. I just want to go hang out with my friends.
Do you think Super Mario World would have kept you out of trouble, or you would have went back?
I got Super Mario later, Super Mario World, both the All Stars collection and Super Mario World, and I just find it's just not as compelling of a game. It's boring, and that like I enjoy difficulty, and I do not care so much about open-endedness in games. And so
Interesting.
Super Mario World for me does not have much replayability because I play through it. I'm like, this is like an amusement park ride. Like I just hold forward and Y and B, and then I get to an end screen. Like I've tried in the past like no death runs of that game to make it interesting because it's not very hard, So in short, no, like I think for me the Mario series is a little bit boring because they're definitionally for everyone, They're not too hard, they're not too easy, they're just very middle of the road by definition for everyone. And for me, like I would have I've beaten the Super Mario World twice in my life, and the second time like I have to like make myself play it because I'm like, okay, this is supposed to be a good game.
Right. Yeah. It's often referred to as like one of the best game platformers of all time. It sometimes
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
I think the fact that it was the pack-in title for the Super Nintendo, and when the Super Nintendo came out, what were the games like F-Zero, Pilot Wings, and Super Mario World? Like, I think like there's a lot of like first game bias versus Donkey Kong Country. Like, when was the Super Nintendo out? Like in 1990, like 1990, or
91, I
like
think. I think it's 91.
yeah. So yeah, so DK1 was 94, so towards the end. The N64, when does that come out? Like in 96, 95?
Like 95 or 6, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so like DK Country was much later in its lifespan, so a lot fewer people would have experienced it. Like Super Mario World came out first, everyone played it, so like it has that advantage.
Okay. Yeah, so wow. I mean, yeah, I've heard a lot of people, especially on the Reddit, when I asked about Donkey Kong Country, a lot of people said this is their favorite platformer of all time. Which is
Yeah.
amazing.
But
I don't think it falls under that category for me, but I will give my opinion later on, and it's not bad. It's not a bad opinion. Now Lacey, you also played through it this last week,
Sure did.
to do like a retrospective, and then you also played it when you were younger, right?
I played it, so I wouldn't say necessarily when I was younger. The thing is, I played one quite a lot when I was a kid. And we're not going to age myself because we're not doing that today.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but I played I played it a lot when I was a kid, and actually Donkey Kong DKC 1 is my comfort game. So like every couple
Yeah.
weeks, I literally will just do a run of it for fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah, like I love that game. Like for me, that's top 3.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
And I played 3 a lot as a kid, but never played 2 until I got really my Switch, and I got the online thing,
Okay.
and I was like, you know what? I'm like, what is this? Like, of course there's a 2. Obviously, I also know how to count, but like, I've
I
never
don't.
played it, and I played it. Well, shoot. I've never played it, and I was like, all right, well, let's try this, because I love Donkey Kong Country 1. Donkey Kong Country 3 is super fun. Like, let's do this. And I played it, and I've played it and beat it twice this week, and I started a 3rd run last night, trying to beat it a 3rd time, but my dad called and talked to me for like 2 hours. That kind of set me back yesterday, unfortunately.
Okay. So we won't go over the good, the bad, and in the mixed yet, but would you say that you still feel that Donkey Kong Country 1 is your favorite over this one?
I'm so sorry, Marcus. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I have...
Okay.
on upon my 3rd playthrough of this, or 3rd or 4th, I guess technically playthrough of this, like my opinion has changed a little bit, and being maybe a little more thoughtful over the last, I would say, like 36 hours about it. But Donkey Kong Country 1 is, to me, like a perfect game, because it's fun. The music is excellent, and it's just kind of like a silly fun romp. Like, it doesn't need to be super challenging for me, but I like a challenging game. Like, don't get me wrong, I played D&D and like it when it's hard, but like, dang, Donkey Kong Country 1 is just such a perfect game for me. So
You feel like the
the only thing that would make
difficulty.
it better is if Dixie Kong were in Donkey Kong Country 1, because Dixie's my favorite.
Yeah. Okay. So I do. Oddly enough, I did hear a Redditor say that they thought DKC 1 was about equal difficulty to DKC 2. I highly disagree.
Hard disagree.
Yeah,
Hard disagree.
DKC 2 is like, I'm not going to say twice as hard, but it's at least 50% harder. At least.
I would agree. It's very challenging, which is great. There were things that I was like, I need to put my controller down because I am mad.
My hands were sweating. Like playing this game
Wow.
on stream. I was literally like, I had to concentrate so hard on some of these levels. I could like the parrot level where like towards the end where you're like a parrot and you're racing the other parrot. Dude, that was hard. Like,
Hey,
I actually beat that like no problem my first time, and I don't know how.
that's amazing.
oh, screw just sprint. It's no, that level's funny, and there's a shortcut that you could take to make it kind of like a non-thing. If you
What?
follow the bananas on the left, like you can just go, and there's like a barrel that takes you all the way to the top, and you don't have to worry about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was just
watched like a run of it just to be like, what's the shortcut here? And I was like, I'm not gonna do it because my monkey, my lizard brain, like literally won't. It'll just be like, follow a banana, and I won't be able to.
Yeah.
But I watched that shortcut, and I'm like, this is absolute nonsense.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a shortcut. I literally followed the little banana arrows the whole time. And I was dude, it was hard, man. That parrot is no joke. He was fast. You know?
But I mean, hey, as the
Sweet.
last like mandatory level before the game is over, like you kind of want that, you know? You don't want your last level to kind of be a pushover. So.
Oddly enough, it wasn't the hardest level for me.
Oh, really? But was?
Wasn't for me either.
Man, so there was 2 before that were on King K. Cruel's like rules.
Okay.
Like island. One of them's like you start out as a snake, and you're like jumping, and there's like acid water like coming up.
Yeah.
That's the one that fills me with rage. That I was like, I'm gonna throw my controller across the room. I need to take a tiny break.
Yeah, no, that one. I think the charge jump mechanic with the snake breaks
garbage.
it breaks down. I mean, it's never good. Like, I'm not going to defend it. Like, but it breaks down in that level because, like, literally, if you get hit by that, your charge jump gets canceled and you're just dead. So you have to like be just very close to perfect in terms of execution on those last like 3 jumps. You know, so it's like if I don't
100%.
charge in this spot and make it right now, like there's not even a point of having a second kit life because the lava will like get me and I'm dead. So okay, cool.
Yeah, the 2 lives were kind of a joke on that
one
level.
Mistake. Yeah, you make one mistake and it's like I don't know if I can recoup this.
Yeah.
Without like magically hitting the button randomly correctly. Like that to me was the hardest level for me. That filled me with so much rage that I was like, I don't usually get mad playing video games because they're just a silly, happy, fun time for me. But that made me so angry. I was like, why am I mad? I'm like, oh, because the hitboxes are kind of dumb here. Okay, perfect.
You know what pissed me off in that level was the there's you have to jump on some bees. Like when you're going up.
Yeah. The bee platforming.
Oh, the bee platform. So like if you don't time the jump on top of the bee perfectly, he won't jump high enough and your snake will fall all the way down and then you'll just die.
That's what I mean about the hitboxes, because I think the hitboxes are super. Listen, I don't know if it's time for us to get into this yet, but that is my major complaint with this game are the hitboxes.
That section's bad too because if you jump too high, so like there's I don't know why, but the snake has like 2 kinds of jumps when going off of bees, like a high one and a not high one, and I'm like there should only be the high one because I don't know if there's any point where you don't want to just do the full jump. But if you do a perfect jump, you can't see below you, so you just have to trust that there's bees below you. So when I play it nowadays, like I just hold forward and like the jump button, and I just have to assume that there's bees below me because I can't see because my jump's too perfect. And I'm like, that sounds not great, but
Yes, that happened to me where I did the little tiny jump a couple times, and I was like, "What?" And then there was, oh man, and then so one time I did that and I fell down, and I went to go back up, and the bee was gone, and so I just had to wait for the acid lava to get me. I couldn't do anything else. I just had to sit there and die. I was like, "Oh no,
guess I'll die."
It's kind of hard to tell like when the bee will turn around because there's 3 of them, and so you jump up, you have to hit one, and then you have to hit another one, and then it's hard to tell when the bees turn around when they're gonna go, and it's not a great point.
Yeah, the other level that I had, go ahead.
That level, no, just that level, that like distinctly sticks out to me as when I went to replay this game. I'm like, oh yeah, this level. When I got there, I was like, oh no. Like I was just so ready to be mad at that level because I remembered it making me super angry.
To be fair, I think on Reddit, I think that was a common theme with this level. Everybody was like that one level with the snake. There was another one though that really I struggled with, and it was another vertical one, and you're like on a platform, and you're slowly going up the level the entire time, and you turn into a
Castle Crush, right?
Maybe yes. And you turn into a rhino for like half of it, and dude, that one was pretty rough for me. And I think there was like you turn into a parrot, but I didn't find the parrot. I didn't know where that was.
Is that the animal gauntlet?
Where you see you see the sign that you can't use the animal anymore. Like, oh well, that would have okay. Yeah, so I guess there's a parrot here at some point.
I think it might have been the animal gauntlet one. I might have been, but I'm not sure if it was the same one. But it was
that level a lot personally.
Yeah, you start out and you're just going up, and then you turn into a rhino, and then like you keep going up, and at some point you can turn into a parrot, I think, but I missed it. I don't even know where it was.
It's between the windy level where you go up, and then like the level where you're in the ice area, right? Those are the 2 levels before and after it.
I think so.
Yeah, it's Castle Crush. Yeah, it's I hate it because it's so slow. Like as someone who's just trying to get on with it, right? Like there's several points where I have to wait for the castle to can you get out, move faster, please? Like I go into bonus rooms when I'm doing that. When I go into bonus rooms and then just lose on purpose so I can go faster because it's it'll shave off 2-3 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if I even got into there was a lot of times I didn't even find the hidden rooms in this game. I feel like people were telling me they're pretty obvious, but I don't know. I didn't really find a lot of them. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I mean they're obvious if you have a copy of Nintendo Power in your hand.
Okay, yeah, so maybe that's what it is. Because in DKC1, I know where a lot of them are just based on memory, but they're not obvious either. Like you kind of have to just trust that there's something there, and you jump into a pit and there happens to be a barrel. You know?
DKC3 did a good job of this because in that game
Mhm.
they're standardized so that there's one before the checkpoint and one after the checkpoint, and every level has two.
Oh.
So they made it so like like okay, like I found like I'm not gonna have to like blow up every wall and like go into every corner. I just have to like I'm after the checkpoint. There's one. I'm before the checkpoint. There's one. But in DK, no, like some levels have two, some have three, some have I think a few have zero. One of them, oh my god, one of them has a bonus level in a bonus level. What are you talking about, Nintendo?
No way. I've never even seen that. That's crazy.
That's some Nintendo shenanigans for sure.
Yeah, that's like we're trying to sell some copies of Nintendo Power.
Wow.
I adore that, actually, to be so honest with you.
Or you could call the Nintendo hotline they used to have.
Yes. Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
My parents would have absolutely murdered me if I would have done that.
I know. It was expensive, wasn't it?
Yeah, so expensive.
Yeah. It was like calling collect, I think, or something, like super expensive.
Yeah, not only was it like a long distance call, but you were paying per like minute. So if for like 5 minutes or some nonsense.
Japan? Did it go to Japan?
I don't think so.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I never called it because I was like, my parents will hurt me if I do this.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
You just imagine like Miyamoto picking up, just like helping you out with your dog. Dude, that would be so cool. That would be worth it. If it was Miyamoto, I would pay this, $100 or something, whatever. But
no, if I could go back in time with my adult money, I would be like, let's do this until Miyamoto picks up.
Until Miyamoto picks up.
This is worth being grounded for like a couple weeks. I'm doing it.
For the rest of my life.
That'd be so cool. So, all right. So let's go to some fun questions. Or actually, let's do a little interesting tidbit. I didn't know that Diddy Kong Quest was a pun. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah. Diddy's Conquest.
Help me.
So Diddy Kong, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, wait, what? After all these years, I didn't realize this was a pun the entire time. That's so funny. Yeah, awesome. Do you guys have a favorite soundtrack?
Okay. Maybe not soundtrack, but when it kicks in and it's all the levels that are like the geodes are in the background. You're like in a mine shaft essentially, but there's all the background looks like I love literally all those
mine
levels.
too. Yeah, Melancholy. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite one too. Most people say Sticker Brush Symphony, the Bramble level, but
I hate that level. That's my other hardest level.
No, I just mean the music behind, not the Bramble level themselves. But like a lot of people say like that one's the best. I'm like, I never really like. I thought it was okay.
It makes me too mad. Makes me too mad to like.
You're like, I hate this level so much that the song doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know why the Bramble level's so hard, but it is. That first Bramble level, I'm just like, I mean,
the issue that I had with it as a kid was, it was too hard to figure out where you're going next. Like I found myself just going in a circle of like I don't know what the next area is. Like I didn't find it challenging in terms of like actual like mechanical skill. I'm just like I'm lost. I'm like I didn't realize that I suddenly put in a puzzle game. Like I'm playing an action game where I hold forward and hold forward, hit sprint, and jump occasionally. I don't know why suddenly like it just like barrels as far as the eye can see.
Dude,
that's what I mean. Like it wasn't a challenge because it's whatever, but it was mostly like, what am I doing? Like, where am I? I looked away for exactly 1 second and I forgot everything that I was doing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of levels that everything is death. So like if you go up, you're gonna get hit by like you're gonna get hit by the spikes, or if you go down, you're gonna hit by the spikes, or like the bees are in front, and then it's like everywhere you go is just death. Yeah, I don't really like those levels, but the music was good. I thought the Sticker Brush Symphony. I thought it's good. I actually really liked the music a lot. I like the remixes more than the original music. Funny enough, there's some remixes online that are really good. Do I like it more than Donkey Kong Country 1's music? I'm gonna have to say probably not. I think Donkey Kong Country 1 just had more like it was like more upbeat. Like it was more like a playful tune. And this was more kind of like this is like something that you would like sit there and I don't know, meditate with your inner thoughts or something. It was kind of more like um like lo-fi, I guess. I don't know what you would call it, but it sounded a lot more serious.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a way more
Serious
serious.
is a really great way to put that.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's the game itself. If you think about the story of what's going on, like in the first game, you're being attacked, and so like you have to like repel them, but you're still on your own home territory, so it's kind of like a more relaxing setting. But in this game, you are like in enemy territory, so like yeah, the music matches. It's more serious. Like you're a monkey on a place called Crocodile Isle, where the levels are like a lava area, a castle, like a swamp, etc. So I think it's appropriate that the music is more serious, just like in Metro Prime 2, like in that game, like you're like a lot more of it is darkness related. So if they made it more upbeat, like Donkey Kong Country 3, like for me is like it does a good job because it changes the music style and like the atmosphere and everything. Like the whole vibe is just more fun and colorful. It's like, well, yeah, because you're in Canada now, so like you don't have to worry about it. Like you're just having a good time, like summer vacation Canada. So it's I think it matches the setting appropriately.
I know we talked about
because the first game is like bananas, and then the second game's like, okay, but he's got Donkey Kong.
yeah, I guess Nana like all he did was take your bananas in the first one. That's all he did, right? That was like
I
okay.
mean, I assume bananas are a big deal for a monkey.
Yeah, that's probably like stealing his bank account, I guess, as a monkey.
Yeah,
you know?
what?
Like,
My first experience
That's
with
pretty garbage. Yes.
my first experience with Donkey Kong Country, I remember it's like you go through the level like Donkey Kong Country 1, and then you walk to the left, and he's just so upset. Like he sees that like empty banana horde, and then he's just like, oh my, like the worst thing in his life just happened. It's like, oh, this is like storytelling. Like, okay, he needs this banana horde back. Like he is really unhappy, and then every boss in that game, you just see hordes of bananas just like behind him. I'm like, okay, I understand. He wants his bananas back, and all these bosses they're holding it. So
why do you
Wait a
think?
second. That means he was like a banana bajillionaire, and like, should we really be supporting the banana bajillionaire?
I mean, it's like the island has his face carved into its rock. So like
That's
it's
true.
It's Mount DK more. So.
I never thought of
But
DK
it
as a
could be like
banana
more
bajillionaire.
communist, you know?
Yeah, we gotta spread.
He could be like, here's some bananas for everybody, and instead he's like, all my bananas got stolen. Screw
I mean,
everyone. I'm killing all of the guys here. Everyone's dead now.
I don't think you're too far off because like the word Kremlin, like that's like the Russian equivalent of like they're like their building where they do their White House stuff. No, they're part. I don't know. Whatever. It's some Russian government building, like the Kremlin, which is the same name as like the reptiles. It's the Kremlin. So I think there might be a connection to like that sort of thing here.
Why do you think? Why would King K. Rool? Why would he want bananas?
Make Donkey Kong mad for fun.
Yeah, you think he's just trying to make him mad?
I think
just to ruin his day.
What we can see about Crocodile Isle is that it's like falling apart. Like one area is volcanic and collapsed. Another area is a swamp and collapsed. A third area is an amusement park and collapsed. And then you have like a haunted forest area that doesn't look like it's doing great. And then you have the castle area, which also doesn't look like it's having its best time. So like, I think he's just trying to like, hey, this guy's got a pretty cool island, and like, things are happening here. Like his ruins are still like looking good. So we're pirates. There's an island. There's bananas. Like let's take it over.
What if King K. Rool? What if he was not Peter Pan? What if he was what's the guy Robin Hood? What if King K. Rool was the good guy?
Well, he shouldn't call himself King Cruel. What?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to spread the banana love. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I refuse.
No,
it's driving you mad. Making you okay.
Get copyright struck for that little verse that we did. So They get you sometimes. It's got weird. YouTube is weird. They'll get you for like little weird copyrights. I don't know why.
So bad.
It's bad. So we all talked about our like least favorite levels. Do you guys have a favorite?
I love
mean,
literally every single cart level. I think they're so fun. I think they're very well done. I really especially liked the one where like you could lose and gain time. Ugh. Challenging in like such a fun way that it was like jump, be good at jumping or else. And like I really liked that one and I really liked I don't remember the names of any of the levels. I did not write any of them down. And the one honeycomb level where the parrot is descending. My other favorite
Descending?
level.
yeah.
The purple parrot.
Yeah, I like the purple parrot because like he doesn't actually he's just the green parrot, but like he can't shoot, so like they had to do something else with him. And I like that they were able to use him in an effective way. For myself, it's I mean, it's hard to choose because I love the game. So I have just a few levels I don't like, but Windy Well is really fun. It's one of the last levels, and it's just because like you are like there's just like physics was like floating, and so like it makes use of that. I haven't seen that in other games before or since. So that one's a really interesting mechanic. And then this is right after the parachute one where you're going down, but or sorry, both before and after. You have Gusty Glade where like the wind changes, so like you have to like time your jumps. And then Web Woods, which is the last level of that world. It just like especially the second half where there is no ground. It's just you as a spider floating in space fighting bees and like the challenge that comes with that. I found that really enjoyable. So I say
Spider
those
in space.
in the air, not in space. Sorry, in the air.
No, I just love that. No, honestly, it's such a good visual that makes me really happy.
Yeah. And then none of you played it because you're too cool for school and you didn't do the Lost World. But
I
Animal
wouldn't say
Antics.
I'm too cool for school.
I'm not cool enough, man. I'm not cool enough.
I would say, yeah, I don't have the skill is the real issue here. It's a skill issue versus the cool issue.
It's the last level of the game. It's the hardest, and it's the one that I joked that like if you didn't complete Animal Antics, did you really beat Donkey Kong Country 2? I don't think so. It's because
Oof.
you go through. It's the same as Arctic Abyss, where you play as all the animals, but it's just the hard version of that. And so the fact that you get to use every animal back to back to back in order to win, and like for one, like because after Animal Antics is like the final, like the second showdown with Crocodile. I mean, with it's called Crocodile Core, but it's with King K. Rool, which it's not. That's not a very good fight, but like, hey, it's like a bonus fight. But like the fact that you get to use all the animals, and this was something that I think DK2 did a really good job in that the first one didn't do was and the first one, you never became the animal, so the levels can be structured around that idea of like you are the parrot here, so we can do things that we couldn't do before because we have to assume that like you are always DK or always Diddy. But like, yeah, you're the parrot, or you're the rhino, or you're the snake, or you're the spider. And Animal Antics just takes us to like dials that up to 11. We're like, you are every animal back to back to back to back. And that parrot section in Animal Antics gives me nightmares every time I play it. Like I still get like goosebumps, and I'm like, all right, try to get it through this area with 5 lives or less, because I know I'm gonna die at least a couple. And for myself, that's fun.
I
It's
think
incredible though. What a fun way to play that game, honestly.
it is, and I think I would have attempted it if I didn't have to go back and like collect all the coins. I think I would have tried, but
Well,
go ahead.
sorry. For myself as a kid, that's what made this game last so much longer than say Metroid, Super Metroid, or Donkey Kong, or sorry, Mario. Is that in this one when you go back and do the bonus areas, you can actually get more. You do the bonus areas, and then collecting 15 of them of the bonus coins gets you the ability to unlock the Lost World. And whenever you're in the Lost World, you can see the other areas that you haven't gotten to, and you can see the end. So you can say like, okay, if I just work through this and figured this all out, and then you're able to go back in the world, the areas, and like you're like, okay, how do I collect this? Whereas in Super Metroid, like collecting additional power-ups just makes the game easier. And so I never do it. I just go through like I just go like whatever I get, and I just keep going, And then in Super Mario World, it's like there's literally no reason to collect any power-ups or to take any side paths except for like different levels, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's it. There's no like alternate ending. I think in Super Mario World they have the Star World or whatever. And you get like
Oh
different
yeah.
types of Yoshis. I think that was like the whole thing. Like you'd get a different type of Yoshi each time. And I would go back to the Star World and I'd just get Blue Yoshi and I'd just like basically cheat my whole way through every level because
Yeah, the one that flies, right?
Yeah, the one
infinite
that
flying
flies.
Yoshi. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, game, just get infinite flying Yoshi. That's why I don't like Super Mario World either, because the cape, like, you can just skip whole sections of the game. I'm like, okay, feel like I'm cheating myself here. Like, I'm just floating on by, like easy mode. Okay. And also, this is why I like this game better than Donkey Kong Country 1, because in that game the bonus levels are not really levels, and there is no bonus world, and there is no bonus final boss. So like there is no reason in that game other than the desire for it to see 100% to do any of the bonuses.
So you kind of like want an end goal in a way, like
Yeah,
an
I mean,
extra
I
boss
want there
or
to be a reason to do this stuff, and in DKC1, I love that game, but you don't have a reason for it.
I'm
Right.
curious.
Yeah, no, totally.
Lacey, do you prefer Super Mario World or DKC2?
Oh, ooh,
Kind of a hard one.
uh, okay, so here's the thing. I love Bowser. Unapologetically, I love Bowser so much. Like one of my favorite characters of all time. When I play, this is insane, but like when I play when I play Mario Kart, it's always Bowser because
Nice.
it's fun for me. I don't know. Because everyone's like,
Nice.
"What are you doing? He's so slow." And I'm like, "Yes, but if I hit you, you're done." So I just have to be really good at the game.
Yes.
I love Bowser. So I would probably put. I'm so sorry. I would probably put Super Mario World ahead of this. But like I said, like after playing, like I don't know, man. Donkey Kong Country period is all three of them are better than Mario games. Period. Sorry, Mario fans die mad. But
I'm mad.
they just fall over.
but I'm gonna have to put Super Mario World over Kong Country. So this game made me so mad. The hitboxes filled me with so much rage, dude. I just
Yeah. We can get into that, the hitboxes a little bit. How do you so Lacey, we know that you felt the hitboxes were a little bit off, right?
more than a little. Like
Okay.
there were like, and I kind of popped on to a couple of like your threads posted. I was like, I was nowhere near you. Like, what are you doing? Like, I was nowhere near your stupid hand. Why have I died? Like,
Right.
what is
Right.
happening here? Especially when the little climbing guys on the ropes that
Oh
would
my
go
God.
woo every time they like fell down. I was like,
elbows, man.
I'm so far away from you. Why am I dead? Like, what
Especially in
happened here?
that one the chain link level where like there's like at
Yes.
the very beginning of the level there's like a dozen chains and there's like 5 of them. They're all swinging up and down. I'm like, can we calm down?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
what is this?
they
Did
can't,
I walk into your
unfortunately.
aerobics class? Like, what? Are you just doing your morning workout? Like, let's talk. I don't understand why you're all here.
Yeah, there's no calming down in this game. Everything just ramps up the entire time. Like you're
Yeah,
just it just gets harder. Yeah. You are sweating the whole
It
time.
was just that and like the bramble levels when you would jump onto a platform and you were not past the edge, but like close to the edge, it'd be like, you're dead now. And I'm like, but why? Especially when you would, at one of the levels, I think the level where the bird level, you floated along the ground, nothing.
yeah.
If you
That's
hit
how
if
well
you
they
hit the
work.
ground, totally chill and cool. But if you like barely touch the edge of the platform, it was like you're dead now. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, it's always weird about the bramble levels where like when you're along the bottom, even though like the visual is like a spiky and brambly, like it's perfectly safe. So I would ground myself. I would just like drag myself along the bottom because I know that that's safe. Even though it's like visually like this makes absolutely no sense.
100%. Well, right, because visually it doesn't make sense. So it was like it was stuff that like um the bees too, like their hitboxes were so stupid that I'm
Mm-hmm.
like the jump thing. The jump thing was so precarious that it was like, okay, if I hit you like literal pixels, it's like, okay, so I get the one jump if I'm like barely a pixel away, but like I get the bigger jump if I'm like right there, but it looks like the same spot. So what are we doing here? So like ooh, the hitboxes made me so mad. My dad called me last night, and he's an old man and he gets bored. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Playing this game, Dad." And he's like, "Oh, you're so mad." I'm like, "The hitboxes."
I have no argument
And
about that, but like DKC one, especially against like the mice enemies, like
oh, that's
was
absolutely stupid.
yeah, like the
100%.
rolling with Diddy. Like I've like seen videos of like a guy doing the same thing 3 times. Like 2 out of 3 times it's fine. It's like okay, yeah. So for me, like I have no argument whatsoever. Like it's not always great, but I'm like it's just the series in general.
Oh, I don't do any of the rolling attacks because that makes me so mad that I'm like that none of this makes sense. So I don't do any rolling attacks literally ever when I play the game because I'm like this doesn't make sense why this doesn't work. So I'm just not going to do it. Which is probably really bad. Also, that first porcupine that just shows up for no reason also makes me really mad.
Oh man, and you can only
Just like at the end of the level. He's like,
yeah.
it's like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Oh, you're gonna kill me at the end of the level? That's cute. Thank
He
you.
does. He shows up in the first level where you are the snake, like the green
Yes.
ship level. At the very very end, he's there, and I'm like, okay, you're just
Sir?
okay, cool,
Hi.
rare. I
That
see
made
you
me
have a sense
so
of humor.
mad.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, the hitboxes were, I would say most of the time they were fine, but there were times that I was like, what? Like, the couple of the things I had issues with were the bees. Like when you're
Yes. The
like
bees were
when
so bad.
like when you're descending with the parrot and you'd be like kind of going down, there'd be like a little tiny like corner or like
yeah,
in like maybe it's like the stinger, I don't know, but like sometimes I'd be like, wait, that hit me, like
yeah.
hold up, and maybe it did, but it didn't when it seemed like it. And
Did
then
you know about holding up to slow down? Do you know about that?
yes,
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Because
yes,
like the first time I played through it, I didn't.
oh
So
that's rough.
I just went down and down even faster.
Yeah, that would be hard, that would be really hard.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
um and then there was and the brambles. Okay, we're going back to the brambles. Everybody, those brambles. So there was, like you said, there were some brambles that are safe, and I had no
Yeah.
idea. So like, towards I think it might have been the last bramble level, and you like that first jump. There's like some bramble or second jump. There's brambles above you, and those brambles are safe. And I had no idea that I could just like go across. But I was like, I guess I have to sacrifice a character every time like I go
Yeah.
across this. And so yeah, I killed like Diddy Kong like every time to get, or like some Kong, it doesn't matter, I don't know which Kong. And then there was
Hey, Kong.
yeah, towards the latter part of the level, there was like brambles, and I think like I needed Dixie to get across. So let me ask you this: is there a part in the bramble level that you can't succeed without Dixie? Is there a part?
What? I mean, every single level is beatable by both Kongs.
Okay.
So
Then I just couldn't figure it out because there's like
Just a
like
skill issue. I ran into the same stuff that it was like, I can't do this without this Kong or that Kong because it's a skill issue for me.
yeah, I mean, I think for myself, I consider like Dixie is sort of the easy mode of the game.
yeah, I think so.
But she's
But fair.
I mean, it's at the same time but like easy mode, but also like not just that she makes the game easier, but like better players, more experienced players, like that are. If you watch a speed run, to say in a different way, you won't see her very much because she's slower than Diddy, and she climbs ropes slower than Diddy, and so
Yes,
like
she
if you're
does.
just
That was upsetting.
and like her twirl attack when she attacks. I mean, you said that you don't do spin attacks, which I don't understand how you play the game without doing that. But like, she has like a longer wind up time, so it's harder to get into like these games for me are at their best when I'm just like rolling through enemies and jumping through obstacles, and she doesn't let you do that as much. So it's like if there's a tricky
No.
jump that you need to go to, then like yeah, you could switch to her to like make this or something like that. But like if you're just trying to like speed through the game, which is what these games are for, like if you play DKC 1 and 2, like in 3, quickly, like it's fun. There's a lot of kinetic fun to it of like just like running and jumping and climbing, like and just like left to right really fast. And Dixie makes that harder to do. And so that's what I mean by like she's the character that like you are if you need help, you can play as her, but also she limits you from being able to play as fast and quickly as you can.
Yeah.
I just want
funny.
to state for the record, the reason that Dixie is my favorite is because I am in fact a girl. So
Okay.
so it was nice like growing up to play as a girl character
Absolutely.
because way back in my day, you know, like there weren't girl characters in games, and now people still get mad about it. So in Donkey Kong Country 3, when I played that and it was Dixie, I'm like, oh, and I always played as Dixie because I'm like, I get to be a girl in a game, yes.
And she doesn't make a big deal out of being a girl. She just is one, and she's pretty badass. Like she's the one who like the K. Rool fight at the very end. Like that's a fight with Dixie. Like that's really
You have
hard.
to use Dixie for that one.
Yeah.
It's so hard without her.
The final attack of like the triple I think it's like
Yes.
triple purple.
The ice and
like,
the fire.
Yeah, like like it is so hard
And
to
the
time
purple,
a jump.
yeah.
It's so hard to time a jump with Diddy. Like I just swapped to her because I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna float. Like, and then I swap back to Diddy, but I'm like, while I'm doing these jumps, I'm switching to her. So like, I just like how she's strictly better. Like, you know, she has more options and more capabilities
Yes.
than Diddy does, and they don't make any big deal out of it at all. She's like, yep, she's the girl, she's here, and she's better, and that's that. So.
Well, and that was like not. I know that we're not talking about DKC 3, but that was my thing about playing that. Is it was like, look at her, she can still pick up Kiddy Kong and throw him.
Yeah.
And she like looks a little like burdened because he's huge. He's like 3 times her size, but she's still like, I got him. I picked him up. I'm gonna whip him across the room, and he's gonna cry. Like
he's gonna cry because that's what Kitty does.
Yeah,
and she also.
I love Dixie. It was just nice to play as a girl character, being a girl. So.
Yeah, I think I it's funny that you mentioned Kitty Kong earlier, Marcus, because you were like, I don't know why people have a problem. I don't know why I did either. Like when I first saw Kitty Kong, I was like, I don't want to play as a big baby monkey. Like, so I was just like, I didn't have a problem with Dixie being there because like she's cool, right? But I wanted Donkey Kong to be in that third game rather than.
I tell you what, Kitty is better than DK in a lot of ways. Like for one, Kitty is just as fast as Diddy. Like they have the same speed as each other. So he doesn't have that problem with that DK has. And his hitbox is tighter too, so like he doesn't have DK's problem because Donkey Kong's problem is like when he's running, like he's wider, and when he's jumping, he's like longer. So like just learning how to like navigate space with him is difficult because like your hitbox changes, you know. And Kitty doesn't do that. So like whenever I'm playing DK1, Donkey Kong Country 1, like I have a hard I swap off of DK because he's bad. But whenever I'm playing DKC3,
I'm sorry, he's stuck.
Yeah,
I only play as Diddy in Donkey Kong Country 1 when I can, and I get really mad when I have to play as Donkey Kong. That's so real.
And in speed runs, what they say is if you're DK, you're dead because he's just bad, you know.
Yeah, he does suck for real.
He does suck.
But like with DKC3, like if I'm Kitty, I don't care. Like Kitty's fine. Like he plays just fine. He's smooth. He's fast. I'm not sure. He might be faster than Dixie. I think he is just because it would make the balance right because you know she's more agile, he's faster, so like it's the same Dixie Diddy balance. But the fact is like Kitty's not a liability in the same way that DK is.
Yeah,
I think he's faster because he has a longer stride.
Yeah,
when he like his run cycle is longer than Dixie's.
Yeah, and you know, I think if they just would have given everything they gave Kitty to Donkey Kong in the third game, that I would have been like, that's it right there. It was something weird about being a big baby monkey to me. I didn't, but you know, like
he's
nowadays,
so cute in his little onesie, and like he just
it's so cute.
Nowadays,
love when they hit their idol and like he just like sits there and he's like,
the idol animation.
It's so cute.
the idle animations in this series. Like I love them in DKC2 for one because like what is
Yes, they're
Dixie just
so
like
cute.
she just like drinks out of her juice box and
Well, those
then
bubbles.
yeah, and then Diddy like plays juggles. Yeah, so it's really fun. And then when they win, you know, like they she has the guitar and he's got the boombox. So it's you know they have a really good time. And the same thing with
Yes.
Very
the
cute.
idle animations in DKC3 is the same thing. Where like you know he pulls on his sock or his like his onesie. It's so cute.
He does. It's really cute. He's just like la la, like I'm looking around, I'm a little baby. Their idle animations are so good. Honestly, it's very adorable.
Especially in like the final boss of 3 where you are on the platform that's moving across. There's like lightning death below you. There's the K rule above you, and he's just like tugging on his sock. I'm like, okay, like he just does not care whatsoever. He's either not paying attention or he doesn't care. And I prefer like that. He's like, yeah, we beat you twice already, guy. It's called DKC 3. Like we won twice. What do you think? You're gonna win this time? No, you're not. Well, we'll see you on the N64.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
You brought up the music boombox and the guitar. I think that was my favorite thing about I actually preferred beating levels with Dixie because I like her guitar better. I think it's super cool.
Oh yeah.
Like she's just rocking out.
They're both cute. She, is kind of a badass, and which feels really good. Listen, I'm gonna say it one more time. Feels really good being a girl playing a video game where the girl's a badass, and it's not like, look at this handicap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's cool. I just grew up with Donkey Kong, so I just wanted him back in the third game. But it's not nowadays. I didn't. Now I don't care. But as a kid, I just I had my little. I did the same thing with Wind Waker when it first came out. I was very like put off by it because it wasn't the same type of graphics as Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. So, but
same. I hated that game until recently.
Same. It took me until 2023, and I played it, and I was like, "This is nice. Like, I don't mind it. Like, it's
so
it's
cute.
fun.
Like, you just have to you have to get over it. And I think once I was like, oh well, I love all the DS games. So why am I so mad about Wind Waker? And I'm like, oh, because I'm being an elitist piece of garbage.
I think it just came out at
okay,
that time.
well, yeah, absolutely.
The industry was moving into like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Halo 2, and meanwhile Nintendo's like, there's bright colors and it's like made for primarily for children, and people are like, what? We want the Space World 2000 tech demo where it's Link and Ganondorf, duking it out like in the middle, of a stage. We don't want this like cute kid, goofing off. Like, what is this, Nintendo? And I'm like, I mean,
it was like a let's make this cute. And if they would have released it after they would have released like the first DS game, it would have been totally fine, and everyone would have gotten over it.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what I love about Nintendo. They don't really care. They just say like, we want get over it, don't get over it. Like, we're just gonna put the games that we want to make when we want to make them, and if you like it, that's great. If you don't like it, well, we survived the 19th century, the 20th century, and we're gonna survive the 21st century.
Yeah,
100%, dude. You're so real for that.
I think Nintendo is pretty successful doing that. I think other game companies don't always have that success when they have the same mentality. They kind of look at Nintendo maybe and they're like, we're going to do what they do. We're going to just change up the whole system. And then sometimes it can kind of bite you in the butt.
The thing is with Wind Waker is that it didn't change the whole system. Like, it looks very unique to itself, but like the actual game part of the game, like it still follows the same mold as other Zelda games did. So like it does just enough different to be different, but like it's not a totally new game. And also, like, the game that came out before Wind Waker was Majora's Mask, and you can't get darker than that. Like, you literally the tone of that game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't without the game being rated T or M.
Yeah.
So it's just change. Sometimes change is hard, when you're so used to a certain formula.
It sure is.
And then you all of a sudden get switched up. The same thing happened with the Resident Evil series, and that happened with Resident Evil 4. And so I know this, this isn't really a game theory episode of the podcast, but it's just it's interesting because we're talking about the differences between number 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes when you're so used to a certain formula and it was a good formula, and then they change it, and that's also a good formula, sometimes you still won't. You might be kind of resilient to accept it. You're like, wait a minute, like this isn't. But then you give it a chance later on. You're like, oh, this is good too. It's just different, but it's good.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the same thing with Donkey Kong Country 3. I just haven't played it yet. I'll have to go back and play that one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing that DKC2 does well with the idea of change is that it changes the amount of change between DKC1 and 2, and this is why I like it better than the original. Is I think greater than any other sequel I've ever played. Like there's more new in DKC2 than there is between Mega Man and Mega Man X, or between Mario Brothers on NES than there's to Mario World. So, like, for example, I've said it repeatedly, but the bonus system, where in DKC1, there is no bonus content, right? Like, if you do 100% the game, or if you, any percent the game, you get the same result. Like, it's the same boss fight, it's the same ending. The bosses in that game, the first one, are just, like, normal enemies. Like, you have a rat character, a bigger rat character, a vulture character, a bigger vulture character, a drum, and then the final boss. Versus in 2, like all the bosses are very unique. They're very imaginative. From the first one, that's the crow at the top, and then you get like the sword that you have to fight, and then the one in the swamp, the worst one, but it's still there. And then they bring back the crow, but like it's different. So like all of the fights are unique. They add bonus levels, which they weren't in 1. Like in 1, didn't really have bonuses. You just like went through an area, collected some coins, and you were done. And they added the capacity to play as the animal buddies, which meant that now you can design a level around the animal buddies. They weren't just like an afterthought. They were like, no, like you are the parrot in this level. Like this level could not work in DKC1 because in DKC1 you at no point are the rhino, right? You get hit once and the rhino's gone. So the developer has to assume that there is no rhino. But in DKC2 is like, no, you are the rhino. And then the fact that you can put your partner on your shoulders, like that wasn't a thing you can do in 1. Like you can grab Diddy or you can grab Dixie, you can throw her. Like that's unique. So like all these additions, I think, are like huge add-ons that weren't in DKC1, are in 2, and also 3 kept all of them. Like there wasn't anything that was added to 2 that 3 is like, we don't like that anymore. Like 3 just kept all the additions, and then it added the open world part of it. For my money, DKC3 had a little bit too many things to collect, but if people like that, then that's fine. So that's for me what I appreciate about it. Like it changed a lot between one game, but it was still recognizably the same.
Okay. So
real.
So one of the good points I did have about this game, we've already covered the soundtrack. The soundtrack is good. I give the soundtrack like a solid, probably like a, I don't know, 8 out of 10. I think it's really good. I think, but one of the really good things, and I think this is probably the best thing about the game, is that each level almost felt completely unique. Like
absolutely.
And I was like, how did they do that? Like they have all these levels and they all are like, even though some of them look the same, they play completely differently. And I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, that's what I don't like about Super Mario Brothers. Where like so many of the levels are just very similar to other levels that are played, and I'm like, okay, like I already did this level theme. I don't need to like do this again and again and again. And like, yeah, I mean, I almost am aggravated by it because like good or bad, like you don't reuse levels. So I'm like, hey, I kind of like that level. I want to like try that again. But like, no, like we did this already. We're doing the next thing. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll have to like replay it to enjoy that again. So I agree. Like all the levels are very unique.
Yeah. Did you feel like they were unique, Lacey? Or
I did. I agree. I think all the levels were. I think they were all innovative, which is really nice, and like, which was nice, but also an issue for me because it didn't seem cohesive.
Okay.
Which I didn't love.
Like
Um,
they didn't mesh together.
yes, I thought that like it was nice to see like each level kind of used a different mechanic, which was fun. But it felt like not cohesive, I guess is the best way to put it. I think it was like, wait, what world am I in? Like half the time, if I wasn't paying super hard attention, the first, I guess technically my second play, but like,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what am I doing right now? Which wasn't necessarily bad, but it was just like, I just didn't feel like, I think the biggest one was like the first kind of swampy levels that weren't the spooky one that had little spooky guy like throwing stuff. I was like, why are you here though?
The guy that
Like,
laughs at you.
why aren't you at the spooky level? Yeah,
Is that you?
screw that guy. He was so rude.
weird.
I don't like him.
He's such
He
a
is
weird
weird. He is weird. At first I was like, what is he doing? And then he like throws a bee at you or something. You're like, what? So
Yeah, like, bro, take it down a notch.
yeah, it's a weird character. So I get your point though, you know, because each level feels like not 100% that you're playing a different game, but it almost kind of feels like you're playing a different game. In each level, which is
Yes.
kind of which is a good thing, but it is not cohesive. It's a good thing in the fact that you are playing something new each time, but it's a bad thing because you get used to something and then you're like thrown for a loop for the next level. You're like, okay, what are we doing?
It makes for good replays where like you're excited to replay that level where that thing happened,
Right.
so it has that advantage to it versus
Yeah.
like 4 levels that all feel sort of the same. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah. So I get the criticism that they're not cohesive. I do like that they're unique though. I think for me that was a good point.
Yes.
And I think that was like I mean I think it showed the innovation that this company had. Like I mean I couldn't imagine designing each one of these levels. You know, it would have taken a lot of like thought to come up with all these. You know, so it was pretty good. Now one of my bad points that I had was this. Get ready, Marcus. Is the save system?
Sorry, buddy.
I hated the save system in this game.
no, I mean I mentioned this in the Patreon too.
Yeah, that
of,
was
like,
hot garbage. Like hot garbage for real.
I think it's just it's not bad on its own, and it's worse in the American version because in Japan it's only one coin that you need, which is easier. But I think the issue is, and A Link to the Past has the same problem of there's not enough memory on the Super Nintendo, like in terms of just like hardware limitations, to store your stuff. So every time you reload Zelda: Link to the Past, you have no. I'm pretty sure like you have no money, no bombs, no anything, right? And you have to like go collect that stuff, and it's annoying. And in this game, I was like, why would you, knowing these limitations, tie saving the game to coins when no matter how many you have after you die, or when you save the game, when you come back, you go back to 0. That seems really annoying, especially in the later levels when you're like trying to collect every bonus level and everything. Like you have to keep looking for banana coins. It's just it's super bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you could only save when you got to the grandma's level. And there was
which sucked.
Yes.
There I disagree.
And so you might get through like 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 levels, and if you ran out of lives, good luck, sucker. You're going back to level 1. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I played on an emulator. So thankfully, like towards the end of the game, when I actually ran out of lives, I didn't have this issue. But when I noticed this issue like right away, and I was like, holy smokes, that would have been bad. So
I mean,
you disagree, right?
I don't. Okay, so disagree is a hard way to describe it, but I think that it is built into the experience of both this game and games of this era, where you are supposed to be able to beat a series of levels in succession and to get to a save point. And so like that is part of the challenge. It's not just beat one level and save, it's beat a series of levels. And so you're supposed to get good enough that you can do
real.
that. And so like I understand why people find it frustrating, but like for me it's like that's part of the point. It's in the same style of like you have checkpoints within a level but you still have to beat it all the way, and it would be kind of like someone saying, well, like there should be more checkpoints within a level because the levels are hard. It's like, okay, but like part of the experience is that you're supposed to be able to beat it all the way through. My issue with it is that it's inconsistent between different worlds. So like the swamp world, Kremcoins, I think the checkpoint or the save cave is like pretty early on, versus like the next level it's like halfway through. So it's like sometimes it's inconsistent, like how far away. And like personally, like I have like actual like it goes on the as far as like video games can be traumatic. Like the first Donkey Kong Country, the Snow World has the worst checkpoint placement, and it's so bad.
Oh my god.
I reached out to the developers on Twitter and I asked them about it. I'm like I love your game. I won't ever I love the game, but like why are the 3 hardest levels in the game all back to back to back before you get to the checkpoint? Because as a kid, I spent so much time between the third world and the checkpoint of the ice world in Donkey Kong Country 1 that like it like drove me crazy. And even now as an adult, like I could get through those levels just fine, but I still feel like that anxiety when I'm there. I'm like, okay, I just got to beat these 3 hard levels before I get there. And I don't think that Donkey Kong Country 2 has anything to the same degree. And more importantly, you usually are able to unlock Funky's flights that let you go back to one world where you can save and then use Funky flights again because it's free to go back to the world you are. So it's clunky, but there's an option there. So I'm torn between it,
Yeah,
Okay.
totally real.
Yeah, so basically, get good, right? Basically.
I mean, the same thing with Dark Souls. Like, like you're supposed to be able to get good enough to like get to the
Right.
bonfire and beat the boss, and that's like the way that the game works. It's like if this is the way that the game functions. You go to the level, then you get to the second bonfire, then from the bonfire to the boss, there's no other checkpoint.
Yeah.
So we're experiencing a real get good scrub moment.
Yeah, and and it's funny because you'll notice that's a common theme with me on this podcast is that a lot of my complaints are because I'm not like the best at video games. so there's going to be times where I'm like, oh, this one mechanic, and people are like, you just got to get good, and I'm like, ah. I think I had that issue with StarCraft, and Tetra was like, yeah, you just kind of need to get good, and I'm just like, I'm like, wow, I suck, but no,
I mean, for me, it just adds replayability because if you are able to just breeze through every level without any challenges, save after you're done, and make it to the final boss, beat the boss, and be done, like I think your desire to replay the game is less than if you struggled and each time you beat it again, you do a little bit better, and like that feeling of improvement, like for my money, like I understand other people are not like that, but for me that makes me want to go back to the game again. And as it happens, that's what I've done because I've played this game twice a year.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably my biggest gripe. Is it a game breaker? No, but I just like after every level I wish there would have been a little like press start, save the game. That's like kind of what I wish. But yeah. Maybe
not every level, just more frequently and not have to pay for it, or just not have to pay for it. Possibly, like I don't mind that it's like half of the world in. The fact that I have to pay for it later, and because I am dumb and I misclick so frequently, I'm like, oh, I just paid you like 3 times because I didn't scroll down because I'm stupid.
That happened to me too. I overpaid her like multiple times. I'm like, I was like
continuously because I'm like, la la la, I'm dumb, like constantly.
Yeah. Well, I think 2 of the buttons paid her. I think so. There was like 2 buttons on your controller that did the same thing. So like you would pay her accidentally. So you'd press the A button. You'd be like, okay, I paid her, and then you like press like I don't know which button it was. It's not B. Maybe it's I don't know. And then you press the other button, and it would pay her again. You're like, what the? She's robbing me. She's robbing. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, teachers don't make good salaries, all right? Like you gotta figure something else out to to pay the rent, and like inflation, it's pretty bad out there. So
she's the real villain of the DK series.
Yeah, I mean, but honestly, that there might be an argument. It might actually just be Wrigley. And these are her like what? Her like her nephew? Her like I don't know. Like she's Cranky's daughter. No, sorry, Cranky's wife. And so like um Junior is their son. And so DK is their like she's related somehow to DK. So she's charging her own nephew.
Their nephew.
Crocodile
Yeah,
Isle.
so I think
They're
it's
in,
their
like, the-
nephew.
Yeah, they're in like the heart of like DK, like sorry, Crocodile Isle. They're in the heart of enemy territory, and she's charging him to save the game, to save his uncle, her grandson. What is wrong with you, Wrinkly?
Yeah, yeah. She's. They're both evil. The grandparents are evil in this game.
Yeah.
They
Hot
They're worse.
take, the grandparents are actually the villains.
Yeah,
They are.
Yeah, I mean,
they are.
King K. Rool is just a pirate. Like like you can't really.
So what pirates
But your
do.
family, when your family betrays you, that hurts.
Right.
Well, this
That's-
is even
Senior
less
folks, hot
forgivable.
take, the grandparents are the worst.
Where this is more or less forgivable is on DK Land 2, which is the the remake of this on Game Boy. It's the same idea. You still have to save and pay money. Like on a
That's
portable,
insane.
you have to pay money
So
and go to
silly.
location on a portable.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably my least favorite thing about the game. So, but it wasn't a game breaker. Now one of the good points that I had was we kind of talked about the difficulty a little bit on this game. Everyone kind of agrees that it's pretty, it's challenging. It's pretty challenging. It's not the hardest game I've ever played, but it's, it gets me sweating. And but this is the good point, is that I feel like 95% of it or more is fair. I didn't feel like I was like given unfair challenges. Most of the time,
Mhm.
it just felt hard. It wasn't like it was like this thing that was unavoidable, or like you couldn't see it coming, or it was just like, okay, it's just a hard obstacle. So I would say like about 95% or 95 to 98% was fair. How do you guys feel about that?
I would agree. I think that for the most part, like the challenge. First of all, a challenging game is excellent, especially a challenging game that like there's a point to the challenge is perfect. That's why I like when I picked this up the third time, like yesterday, I was like, you know what? I wasn't being fair the fourth time. Whatever. We're just gonna go third time because I'm gonna ignore the first time I actually played it. Picked it up for the third time yesterday. I was like, you know what? I wasn't being fair. I was being hypercritical because I was annoyed because what I really wanted was to talk about Donkey Kong 1 because that's my bad problem. But a challenging game is so worth it, especially when you like retro games and like you've played something so many times. And you're so used to a franchise and blah blah blah. And I don't think there was. I think the snake level with the acid probably the only time that I was like, I might rage quit. Everything else I could like manage. It was like, well, this is mildly annoying. The snake level with the acid was the only time that I was like, this seems actually unfair. Like this seems truly unfair. Even then, it was like, well, this seems also like a skill issue that I'm just not good enough at this game. It doesn't seem like unbeatable. It just seems like I'm not fast enough pushing buttons for the most part. So it wasn't like a Dark Souls for sure for me, but it was like well, this is a little bit rage inducing and I need to take a little breaky poo. So that's I was enjoyable. Like it's still gonna probably be in like my top 20 games for sure of all time. We might be pushing like
Okay.
top. Yeah, and it was very enjoyable. I love the first three games like super a lot.
Yeah.
Very fun for me. I will always recommend this one because it's very innovative. They use so many interesting mechanics, and I kind of do like. I like that there's a different mechanic and everything, but I don't like that they don't seem like they're in the locations that they're supposed to be some of the time. Like it just seems like really like kind of disjointed, and that was my biggest thing. But yeah, I'd put it in my top 20 for sure. I'd put DKC 1 top 5. I'd put KC3 probably top 15, maybe top 13 because I can't decide on a top 10 today. But I would put DKC 2 probably, like, certainly top 20, probably top 18. I would not put it at 20, sir.
Yeah,
So, my opinion.
Wow, I mean that's good. That's a top 20 is really
I think what's
It was very
important is
enjoyable. And I played a lot of games. I'm pushing 40, so I play a lot of games in my time.
I played me some
what.
games.
Yeah, what for me matters with this is that this is a sequel, and so you assume that the people who play the sequel, A, played and B, enjoyed the original game. And Donkey
Mhm.
Kong, the first game, was already more on the difficult side of things. And so if they were going to make a sequel to a known to be hard platforming game, you kind of have to make it a little bit harder, because like it would be disappointing to fans if, like, especially for myself, if I played DKC 1 and I enjoyed it, and I played DKC 3 and I enjoyed it, and then I'm looking for 2 and I played 2 and I'm like, this one's a little on the easy side. Like, it's like picking up a Dark Souls sequel and it's like, oh, they catered to the people who thought it was a little too hard. Okay, that's fine. Um, what I enjoy about it is that every time I play it, and I mean I play it, at um an infrequency that allows me to kind of forget some of the details, because once or twice a year, and it takes me about an hour. Sorry, it takes me 2 hours to beat it, give or take. So, and that's playing through all the bonus levels. Sorry, not the bonus levels, but the bonus world too. Um, it's difficult enough that I always have a hard time, that I'm always challenged when I play it, and I don't get that
Mhm.
with a lot of games. So, for example, if I go back and play through Super Mario All Stars or Super Mario World, there's not much challenge there. I get through half the game without breaking a sweat, and I'm like, okay, well, I enjoy. Like, for me, the point of challenge is not for its own sake; it's to be immersed. Like, you have to focus, you have to pay attention, you have to let the real world, melt away and just be a damn monkey on Crocodile Isle trying to save your uncle. Because if you are not in that setting, then you're not going to be able to win. So I like that. I find it's fair because you can go to Cranky and get hints, and to Wrinkly and get hints, and figure out like how to both get to to the bonus levels, and how to conquer certain challenges. Like, she'll tell you, hey, this boss might have this trouble, might give you this trouble, you might beat it in this way. And so I'm very happy that both of you feel that, like, it's mostly fair. I won't also say that it's 100% fair, because there's certain sections that I disagree with, and I'm like, yeah, no, that wasn't done well, or that wasn't balanced. And the Lost World has even more issues. What matters to me is, after I reached out to the developers and asked them about the difficulty, they told me that they had to do the whole game in a year, and that doesn't give you time always to balance everything the way that you want it to. Uh,
That's
Mario
fair.
games usually have a 3 to 5 year balance period, and you can do more in 5 years than you can do in one. And so, yeah, there's sharper edges around
100%.
this. And so, yeah, I obviously hold it as a higher game than that, but I appreciate that both of you really like it, and you both found the difficulty, while high, also fair in most cases.
Yeah, I mean, if I was to rate it on a difficulty scale, it'd probably be like maybe like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, that's where I'd
Yeah,
rate it to.
I would
That's
agree 100% with that.
yeah,
Yeah, because there are games I've played that are a lot more difficult, but
I agree.
there are games I played that are a lot easier. Um,
Yeah,
and
certainly.
like Ninja Gaiden Black. I mean, that game kicked my. I died a billion times playing that game. It was like Dark Souls before Dark Souls. Um, so I get it. And Dark Souls is really challenging. If you're not used to the patterns of the game. So
Well, I
it,
mean,
it
I think this and Dark Souls are similar to each other, and that Dark Souls is challenging on your first run, but like it's a fair challenge, and like once you understand it, like I played that game 3 times. My first run took 50 odd hours. My second run took 20 odd hours. My third one, I beat it without leveling up my character, because like the game is just so like fair and like respectful of its own
Mm.
rules. And this is very similar. Where like my first run of this game, I mean, I don't have that cartridge anymore. I have a new one, but it must have been 10 plus hours. And I think I told you, like, DKC 1 took me 2 years, you know, and then now I can get it knocked out in 2 hours. So
Yeah.
it's a difference.
You know what? If we could sound clip an entire thing in this podcast, it would be you saying that DKC2 and Dark Souls were similar. Because people would lose their minds, which I love personally. I have a gripe that now that I know that it only took a year to make this game, or they were only given a year to make this game, is totally like invalidated, because there was one level that I played that was like, this was ripped from a different game, like 100% ripped from a different game. It was the one. Hold on, it was in a swamp. I literally didn't write anything down because I'm the actual worst person. It was a swampy game, and it was the one where you were jumping like on the lily pad poles.
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt very ripped from possibly the first game. I can't remember which one. I hadn't played the second game enough to like know, but I'm playing this going like,
lily pad?
You're not on the lily pads, but you're like jumping to the like lily pad stalks, I guess.
I think I know what you're talking
with the
about.
crocodiles.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Not Crockhead Clamber. I've had the Wikipedia open.
Oh, perfect. Good. I'm so glad.
I mean, for me, that's always been like a nothing level. Like, I'm like, yep, that sure was a level in this game, I guess. So that's fair.
Yeah, and you
it
said
bothered me playing it that I was like, wow, this feels very like ripped from.
Yeah.
I played this before, like, and I knew that I had, obviously, because I had the data in front of me, but I was like, this feels like something like it's from something else, though.
From what we know about the development, and I've like, spent some time reading into it, there was a lot of like the first 2 worlds had a lot of like levels that could have been in the first game, like they were cut content. Like not all of them, but like a good amount of the like themes and ideas. And I mean, literally, like the first world is the same ship that the first game ends on. So that's not complicated to like put that together. And then like the second world, the lava area, like that has a lot of like caves and cavern style areas that existed in the first game too. So like there's some ideas there that like, yeah, there's some overlap. So I wouldn't be surprised if like one also like the first 2 worlds and then like one level from like world 3 also made it there, because I agree, like that level's always been like okay, that's kind of weird, but
that one in particular just felt like a reskinned version of something from 1, which was my like, which now that I know they only had a year to make it is I wouldn't say fine, but like understandable.
Yeah.
But before I was from themselves. Well, right, there's literally stealing from themselves. So when I played it, I was like, this is And so now that I know, I'm like, okay, well that makes sense. Like if that's all the time that you have and you have to make all these levels in a game that lasts so long, it's worth so much money, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and you're Nintendo, so you need the Nintendo polish, blah blah blah. Like, of course you're gonna rip from yourself and reskin it and like put a couple extra challenges in there. So it makes sense to me now, but when I played it again, I was like, what is this? I was initially like, very like, and I had questions, but thank you for saying that, because now I'm like less mad about it, I guess.
You're like more empathetic now. You're like, okay, like
yeah, like it totally makes sense to me that it's like, oh, well, 100%. Like, yeah, if I had to do something and had a limited amount of time to do it, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna plug in extra levels where I need them, and I'm just gonna kind of like borrow from previous assets. Like, that's totally chill. Like, no big deal.
Nintendo seems to be into that sort of thing, because Majora's Mask was also made in a year, and that's literally like all the art assets are just Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I guess, like,
I mean, and they still managed to make a really interesting and unique game from that, which is, very cool that they did the same thing with DKC2, which makes me appreciate it more, like knowing like they had a year. So like, of course it's not a perfect game, because how could it be in that amount of time? But it's also a very fun and very challenging game, and absolutely worth like playing. And like, so now that I've done that, I'm gonna put it in my like comfort game rotation and like try to play it more and be less like.
If I think I've accomplished something here.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Congratulations.
Yeah, but the fact that Nintendo always puts these tight deadlines on these these developers, and they still push out these great games is pretty amazing.
I mean, that's also why Wind Waker has so few dungeons, because like and there's the Triforce quest at the very end, because like they were supposed to have there's like at least at least 2.5 dungeons that were cut from it, and like like when you try to force something out while also being high quality in a short amount of time, you're gonna get cut content. So
Right. And so yeah, I understand that. I didn't. That's funny. I didn't notice the stealing from the first game, but I haven't played the first game in so long that if I
Oh,
wonder if I
I
go
play
back
it
to play it.
like at least once a month.
I am interested if you ever figure out which level it's stolen from, because I didn't connect that that's taken from somewhere else.
I will go back and play the second one and the third one and figure it out, and I'll let you know.
So how do you guys, so this is one of the things that I had
The first
written.
one and the third one, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. And then this is one of the things that I had written down as a mixed feeling, and it was the graphics. So
Yeah.
like I remember
real.
Yeah, I remember the graphics just being something that I used to love and adore, and I thought they were just I really liked them back in the day. And then I went back and played it this time around, and it was not as good as I remember. It was a little bit iffy.
Well,
and
and there was stuff in the first one that I appreciated, like the second level, maybe the third level, when you're going and like the sunsets. And that's like
Yeah.
so nice. That's so like it's
Like
still
the
like
third,
I will never forget that. It's so beautiful.
yeah, the third level where the sun setting. It's so beautiful.
Ugh, like truly premium. And like this game, like gotta be real, like as fun and good as the game was, like graphics were a little upsetting sometimes.
yeah,
I
and
think
go ahead.
Lance, if you played it, were you on like a computer monitor?
Yeah, and I tried different different what do you call it? Post-processing effects, and I tried upscaling, and I tried
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, and I just couldn't.
It was made for a different monitor, different
Yeah, like
TV. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
made for cathode ray tubes, and like those have a sort of natural anti-aliasing to them. And so like if you are playing this on a modern monitor, like it's just literally like do not have you cannot see it the way it looks, because when I play this game, I do play it on a cathode ray tube CRT television, and like it looks better. So like whenever I've seen it on like a computer screen, I'm like, yeah, no, that's a pixelated mess. So
You know what?
it's
That
one of
makes
those
so much
things.
sense.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like you cannot enjoy this retro game in the same way if you are playing it on on modern hardware. So
Yeah, it just and I did the TV lines scans or whatever, the scan lines, and I did the CRTV
yeah,
effect, and I just couldn't get it to look good. Like I really tried. And maybe it would
yeah.
look better on the natural system that it was made for, but yeah, it just wasn't as good. Like I played Mega Man X, and Mega Man X's graphics were actually still pretty decent. This one was rough. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was like the worst, but it was like that's why it's in my mixed feelings. Is that I still enjoyed the graphics and I still thought they were pleasant at times, but it just wasn't as good as I remember. It just really did not hit that mark for me. Um, and I had because in my mind I remember, I don't know why, I just picture what kind of graphics do you call those? What do people call those? They're like
I mean, they're sort of like a pre-rendered style. Like they took like a 3D model and they like shoved it back into like a 2D style. So this is like very vaguely speaking the same kind of style of like a Resident Evil, just like shoved into like a 2D version. Whereas Mega Man, like that's just like 3D. I mean, sorry, that's just like sprite work. Like you can literally get a pen and paper and like draw out like a Mega Man sprite, but that's not how this works. So like it's just different technologies.
yeah. And
So maybe that's why.
yeah, so I don't think it aged as well as Mega Man did, or like the pixel art, whatever you call it. But it was fine. It wasn't, it was playable once I kind of got some decent settings going. But out of the box, it was not. It was not play. I was like, oh man, and that's probably the monitor thing. But yeah, it was okay. And I for some reason I remember, are the graphics from the first one different than the second one, or like are they the same?
the way that they're made, or
just like kind of how they look?
I mean, I think that the series in general is good, and at least in my opinion, that like each game looks better and better, and like slightly more stylized too. Where like, especially if you compare the water levels, like the water levels in the first game look like okay, I'm in a lake, cool. But like by the third game, it's so vibrant and like visually like just beautiful that like whenever I look at the water levels in the third game, I'm like, this is just amazing. So I think it does increase per game.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was just kind of curious because I feel like if I went back and played the first one, if they would also give me that same like not like mixed feeling about. I'm not really sure. Um now so that was kind of all the good, the bad, and the mixed feelings that I had about the game. Oh no, there's one more thing that I complained about, and it's very small. When you roll, sometimes you roll like when you're standing still and you roll. Sometimes your character will still roll, and like you'll roll off a leaf or something. Like you'll like roll off a cliff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, real.
All right, so I think we kind of said. I mean, I said most of my piece about the good, the bad, and the mixed. I don't really have a lot other to say than that. But before we kind of before I rate the game, do you guys have any final thoughts that you would want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for anybody who played the first one and like me for whatever weird reason never played the second one but skipped right to the third one, give this game a shot and like one, recognize that they did it in a year, which is crazy town, especially at the time. And two, like it was really fun. It was very innovative and very fun. And I think that's the nice thing about a sequel to stuff, especially something like DKC that was so well received that they could do whatever, which is awesome. It was so cool because they truly did so much cool stuff with this game that like genuinely it's worth a play. So if you never have, please give it a shot if you can. If you have a Switch and you can do the Switch Online, Nintendo Online, whatever, and play it, like do it. It's so worth it.
Awesome. And what about you, Marcus?
I have nothing further to add about DKC2 in general. But I would say that if people are interested in playing this series, to also play Donkey Kong Land 3, because that is like a level pack on top. So it makes for a really good 4-game set. And all three of them are really, really good games that build off of one another and are, I think, a cut above most of the other offerings on the Super Nintendo, especially games that are not, Metroid and Mario, because my opinions about those, notwithstanding, they're still excellent games. So yeah, I would say give Donkey Kong Land 3, and I think those are also on the Switch Online. Um, Lands 1 and 2 are interesting, but Land 2 is literally just Country 2, but in black and white. So like, there's literally no reason to play it. And then Land 1 is really rough around the edges. Like while they Land 1 was also made between these games, and like they hadn't figured out the physics yet. So like those two are not worth playing, but Land 3 is. So yeah, play Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, and Land 3. And it's a really good time to play all of them. And I don't know that you have to do it over and over, but if you are playing it once, just play it 102% for this one and 103% for DKC3, because you get an extra world and an extra boss. And for me, that's really fun. And if you could do it without using a guide, that's even better, because getting lost and having a hard time is part of the experience, I think.
Love
Okay.
that.
So Marcus, what would you rate it out of 10?
I mean, a 10. Like it's if I had a list of 5
Okay.
if I had a list of my 5 favorite games of all time, this is on that list, So
Wow. Okay. So pretty much a perfect game almost.
yeah. 9.9 is the lowest I'll go.
So okay, that's the compromise. 9.9. Okay,
I love that.
what about you, Lacey? What would you rate it out of 10?
So like I think about I'm a huge reader too, and I think about things that like books wise, what would make my top 20, and like none of those would fall below like a 4.5 out of 5 because I don't rate books out of 10 because that seems insane to me. Like for video games, gosh, that's hard, but I think probably wouldn't rate anything, and I wouldn't rate anything in my top 10 less than an 8 for sure. Probably actually not less than a 7 because what's the point? And so playable and it's so interesting. It's such an interesting game, and especially knowing a little more about it, I would probably give it. Can I do like quarter? Can I do quarter
Sure.
ratings? Is that crazy?
Why not?
Okay, cool. Let's do like a somewhere between a 7.2 or 7.75 and a 8.25 depending on my day.
Okay, if it's the snake level, a 6 or 5, but
yeah, screw the snake level. Like that's like a 4. Like snake level, a 4 all day. But if it's the honey level with the dropping the purple parrot, like that's a 10. So like we're looking at like, you know what? Honestly, let's just do an 8. Let's straight up do an 8.
Nice.
Yeah, an 8's good.
So to me, it's so enjoyable. Like it's in my top 20. Like I said, it's probably in my top 18, certainly, possibly in top 15. Upon a couple more plays.
You started at top 20, now you're up to. I think I pushed it up like 2 or 3 ratings, so I'm happy.
You did. Well, like knowing more about it, like and hearing you talk about it, how much you love it. Like I'm gonna play it a couple more times before I like set it down for a little bit. But like, it's really enjoyable. It's very innovative. It's so enjoyable.
If you are going to play it again, remember, for me, play it, you have to play 1, then 2, then 3, because it's not just, for me, it's not just 2 by itself, but it's 2, how much it improved on 1, which was already a great game, you know?
1 is like a perfect game for me, so like...
yeah.
For me, but that's because I'm crazy. It's just that game to me, but it's a perfect game for me because it's a comfort game, which is very nostalgic, obviously. So like, you know, like that's top 3, which is whatever. But yeah, I'd put in top 15. So let's give her an 8.
Okay, that's solid.
Comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's a solid rating. So we got a 10 out of 10 and 8 out of 10. And what am I going to rate it? So I think the game was fun the entire time, pretty much, besides a couple levels. One of them being the snake level was a little annoying. And then the one where you're like on the platform and you're raising up, I just couldn't stand that one. And then the last the last bramble level, I hated that one. But other than that, I mean, I had a lot of fun with this game. And I thought every level was really unique. I thought the music was great. I thought the animal buddies were great. I would have to give it probably also a solid 8 out of 10. If you fix the save system, you fix the hitboxes on some of those things, you fix some of the bramble, like whether you can be hurt or not be hurt. Like you fix these little tiny things, I think it could jump up to a 9 or a 10. You know, it's just they had these little things, and I think the save system was the most atrocious for me, and that's a personal thing. You know, mad 'cause bad, but it just other than that though, it was great. I mean, it was good. You know, how can I compare it to Donkey Kong Country 1? It's been a long time since I played DKC 1, so. But the last time I remember it, when I was a kid, I enjoyed number 1 more than I enjoyed number 2 as a child. But I couldn't beat number 2 when I was young. I really struggled with it. It was really hard for me. And I remember just because I was more reactionary and less like strategic when I was young. You know, I would just kind of like jump in and hopefully my reactions would take care of it. You know, because when you're a kid, you just kind of rely on your reactions. Because you're fast, your reflexes. But as an adult, I think Donkey Kong Country requires more strategy. Number 2 requires more strategy than number 1. It makes you kind of think about how you're going to get through the level in the obstacles. So I think that's really why I did a lot better this time around, and why I respect the game more this time around than I did when I was a kid. I think it's actually better nowadays, interestingly enough. So that was really cool. So yeah, I think a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a great game. I think it's really good. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's really good. So,
Yeah.
so
So,
we go ahead.
Lacey, you said that you read, right?
Oh, a buttload, absolutely.
Yeah, for me, getting better at games is like reading because I read too, and like there's stuff that I read when I was a kid and I didn't always understand, and like you have to reread it to read it better, like get a better understanding
100%.
of what's going on. And so like this is the same idea where like
Sure.
what you're saying, Lance, that like you read it as a or sorry, you played it as a kid and you couldn't get through it, and now you're able to enjoy it more as an adult. I think there's a
Yeah.
good thing to that. Like I don't think everything you do you should be able to fully like enjoy and comprehend the first time around. I think there's value in improving on things and enjoying it the second time. And I think things that you do 100% understand the first time around or are able to enjoy aren't that great because they don't have any replayability or rereadability or
Right.
redoability or whatever you want to call it.
Sure. I 100% agree with you. And I think that's why I was so willing, like, I'm so willing to give it higher rating than I might have, like, earlier this week. And why I'm so willing to, like, okay, well, I'll finish the run I have right now because I'm about 2/3 through the game at this moment. And then I'll play it a couple more times before I'm like, okay, I'm going to set this aside before I go back to Stardew Valley or whatever dumb nonsense I'm about to play because the world we're living in right now, I need to play a nonsense game. But no, so enjoyable. Truly play this game a couple of times because it's not worth just playing. It's silly to play it once and just be like, ugh, ew, because it's not fair to like rate it based on how it's not fair to rate it based on like how much of a challenge you had playing it, but it's better to rate it on replayability, and I totally agree with that.
Awesome. So let's go into some viewer comments. I sent you guys some comments. And I don't know if you guys have those pulled up, but we can basically just have you guys alternate reading them for me because I'm still recovering with my voice.
Okay.
And if you said you wanted to read you wanted to read Nectarines, right, Marcus?
Yeah, just because I don't agree. So I think it's good to have, differing opinions.
Okay, let's start from the bottom then. You go ahead and read Nectarine.
So this is OK_Nectarine 4003. Actually weakest of the three, in my opinion. First is nostalgic, third is creative, second is considered the challenge of the three. I would say this one is better than three, but it's missing the creativity that three has. I remember more unique things in the second game, three being roller coasters, winds, and the animal gauntlet level, but the third game has way more iconic things I remember. Just my opinion, though.
Okay. What do you think?
I mean, my issue with three is that a lot of what they add is just gimmicky stuff that like isn't good. There's a green gas level where like left and right, or sorry, where that's like slow, where like your jumps are higher, and then there's like a purple gas level where like your left and your right are reversed. I'm like, okay, my left and my right are reversed. So like, there's mill levels that are just very slow and like very puzzle based, and there's bosses that like you have to like squirt like a tree like water creature in the eye to like kill it, or like you have to like throw,
Elephant levels hot garbage, dude, for real.
or you have to like one boss where you have to like throw the very first boss, you have to like throw beetles into something's mouth. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like I'm throwing beetles into a barrel's mouth? Like what am I playing? So like I think three had a lot more gimmicky levels. But then again, like if you're describing it as like my gimmick is somebody else's creativity. So like potato, I guess. So yeah, I don't agree, but I also appreciate that they have that opinion. So yeah.
Okay. What about you? You played number 3 too, Lacey. What do you think about the second versus the third?
I think I would put them for me on like the same level. They would be like the same star rating for me, but they both had like differing issues. I think three is like, how do I put this? Like innovative style wise. Like it's a very different game from the other two, but I think that like 2 is a significantly more innovative game. Period. Like, way more interesting, way more replayability to me. Like I wasn't sitting going like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing right now? I was in the bramble levels because that's a me problem and like a paying attention problem. But like that's but it was like, wait, well, how do I get to the next part? In 3, you have to like you have to like buy stuff and ride the stupid boat around and like whatever, which is
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
or
You have to buy
whatever.
stuff.
But it's like, what am I doing right now? Versus like this
Yeah.
game is it's like I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just not good at it.
Riding the boat around. That's funny.
That's the best way I can put it without spoiling it for anybody who hasn't played it.
Yeah, I know there's some sort of open world map to it.
Yeah, that's what
that-
that's what it adds. It's an
Yeah.
open world map. So you have to
kind
ride
of
a boat around.
interesting. All right. Do you want to read the next comment, Lacey?
100%. If my eyeballs will.
Yeah, it's a little small if you can't.
So we've got negative glove. So it's negative dash glove dash 7175. They said after 102%ing the game 2 times in a row, one normally and the other on the secret quote hard mode. Yeah, I would say it holds up. Definitely has its issues as expected, but I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. Tropical Freeze is my favorite DK.
Interesting. I never played Tropical Freeze, but I've heard it's really, really good. Is that true?
Yeah, hard disagree. Oh my god.
Oh.
So bad.
What's Tropical Freeze? Am I stupid? Like, help.
It's the 2014 one that came out on Wii U. And then
Oh yeah, that was
ported to
trash. I played it briefly and I absolutely hated that.
My issue with both it and Returns is basically that there are like a Bizarro World sequel to Donkey Kong Country where the sequels never happened. So, for example, there's only Rambi. Like, we don't have other animal buddies anymore. The mini games are back to being boring. Like, there's no more exciting ones that there were in 2 and 3. Dixie and Cranky come back, but unlike 2, where Dixie has her own advantages and disadvantages, so there's never a spot that's like purely for one or the other. Like, no, she's just better. She's just 100%. There is never any reason to use anyone other than Dixie in that game. Or sorry, there's never a reason to use Diddy because Dixie's just better, and she makes all the sections easier. But also, they can't plan around her because she's optional. So you have this character that makes the game way easier. That's optional, so that like you have to just assume it's always DK. So the difficulty in 3, in Tropical Freeze, is just non-existent. And then like they can't make up their minds with like the common enemies. So like 1, 2, and 3, like they all have the Kremlings and King K. Rool, and they're wearing different hats. But the Returns and Tropical Freeze games, they just use different characters. They have different like enemies. They don't make a comeback. They're not anywhere else. They're just like, okay, here's this guy in this game. We're not going to talk about him anymore, though. And then the levels are just too long. Like, the bosses have like 5, 6 phases. The levels have like 6, 7 bonus rooms. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to like play like 3 checkpoints, in 4 checkpoints in one level. Like, how about one level, 1 checkpoint, like, and then a boss at the end. So I just think I'm not sad that we didn't get a third one, and I'm not sad that we're getting Donkey Kong Bonanza. Is the short.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's so funny because I always hear Tropical Freeze is like a pretty good game. So that's good to hear that a different opinion though. I've never played it. I don't know. Eventually maybe I'll go back and play it, but it does sound like it has some issues there. All right. So you want to read the next comment there, Marcus?
Yeah. From Grakti. I played it for the first time a couple of weeks ago, having no nostalgia for it, apart from being very fond of the promotional material. I absolutely adored my time with it. Every single aspect is so well done. I love the aesthetics and the soundtrack. The level design is so much fun, with a couple of exceptions. I think they're also talking about the snake level. I was anticipating a much harder experience. Overall, it's a perfect game.
So funny. Everybody has the same level in their mind. They're like, that damn snake level.
The
Damn
snake
snake.
and the acid.
Yeah, so how do you guys feel about that? I mean, sounds like he really loves it. I mean, I don't have much to say. I mean,
Go ahead,
it's
Marcus.
like go ahead, Marcus.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think you need to play the game more than a couple times before you decide that it's perfect. Because perfect is kind of a high standard. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you're like talking him out of it. You're like, wait a minute, you don't have enough appreciation for this game.
I
You don't
mean,
like
yeah,
this game enough.
yeah, before you praise something, like play it a couple times.
That's funny, but yeah, okay, yeah. I thought it.
Very enjoyable. Yeah.
I think I find it interesting that he had no nostalgia and he still thought it was really good.
Yeah.
That to me shows that a game is timeless. So
I have minimal nostalgia for it. Like I didn't play it. I did not play this game in childhood. I played a 1 and 3 in childhood, but not this one. And it's very enjoyable to me. Like as an adult human, I guess, but human adjacent, if you will. It's super enjoyable. Like they really I'm so sorry, but they really nailed video games with the Donkey Kong Country games for the Super Nintendo. Like they were very, very good. They were very enjoyable, challenging, fun, great soundtracks. Despite the graphics issues, if you're playing on the wrong screen, which now that I'm like, oh my god, you're so right that CRT TVs it would totally look different. Duh, obviously. Despite all that stuff, all these games are very enjoyable and they're very worth playing and replaying. So I wouldn't say it's a perfect game for me, but I would say it's damn close. It's very enjoyable despite those things that I said, and I don't know that fixing those things would make it better than 1 for me, but that 1 is just simply nostalgia, and you're never going to change my opinion about that, unfortunately. So
nostalgia is a powerful drug. It's
it truly is.
It is. All right, so let's just read one more comment. You can either read Cher or Birdo's. It's up to you, Lacey.
And let's go with Birdo. Birdo dash the dash besto. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Absolute gem of a game. Literally one of the best games, if not single best game on SNES or SNES, if that's how you're so inclined. It's so good. I completely recommend you 102% that game. It's still amazing and holds up just as well as it always has.
Yeah. So he says the single best game on the SNES. Marcus, is that the same for you? This is the best one on SNES?
I hard time just stating this game is the best, because for me genre matters a lot. This what's the best RPG matters to me. What's the best whatever. So it's the best platforming game on the Super Nintendo, sure, but Zelda's a better RPG, to be really annoying. Yeah, so
Zelda's
I agree that it's the best platforming game, but for me, there is no single best game on any console. It's based on genre.
Okay, that's fair. That's completely fair. Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time choosing the best too. And I have probably a top 10 favorite games list, and I would have to really think about them. But I do have some preferences there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he loved it. I mean, it's definitely one of the best on the SNES. I don't know about the best, but it's one of them for sure. So now that we're done with the comments, we're just going to do a couple of riddles because usually I just do one riddle and it's the next game of the week. But because I've been so backlogged with games that, I've been playing the games, I just haven't been doing podcasts for them. So I'm going to do a riddle for the next podcast episode. Then I'm going to do a riddle for the next game that I'm going to play for next week. And you guys might already know the game I'm playing for next week because it was on the Discord. If you'd already know the answer, don't say it right away. I'll let the audience kind of guess it. But so the game of the week riddle for the next episode is going to be: darkness marches from the east, where demons wake and angels cease. From blood-stained crypts to deserts dry, you'll chase the shadow, do or die. With loot to hoard and hell to brave, what classic RPG will we now crave? All right, I wonder I wonder if the audience can guess this. You guys get 5 seconds. No, I'm just kidding. You
I ain't
guys.
saying nothing because I don't remember, and also I am not going to guess.
Okay. All right. Marcus, do you have any idea?
No.
Okay. For the next episode is Diablo 2 for the podcast.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Diablo 2. I actually played through it, and so now I have some. Funny enough, it's one of those games I've played multiple replay. Like I've played it throughout the years because my friends are like Diablo fanatics, and they always drag me back into this dang game. Like look. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but they love the game a lot more than I do. Let's just say that they are They love the crap out of Diablo 2. So I always get dragged back into that game. So, but the riddle for the next game that I'm going to be playing for the week on stream is going to be: a chosen child, a world to save. With mana dwindling, you must be brave. 2 worlds tied by fate's design, where angels soar and swords align. Skits and summons, cel-shaded quest. Which classic's tale will put you to the test? And if you guys seen the game of the week announcement, you already know what it is. But this is actually a game I haven't played before. This is like a game that I've never played before. So it's going to be my first time I ever played it. And it was submitted by Aryok on the Elite Retro roster. So it was kind of like his pick. And it's for the GameCube. And it's an RPG. And I guess it's an action RPG. It's not like a turn-based one, which is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of excited to play it. And it has a ton of there's like a ton of games in this series, and I think they're not related to each other though. In the game is Tales of Symphonia. Have you guys played that one?
I haven't.
No, but I've heard of it.
I haven't beaten it, but yeah, we did when I was younger. What it has that's pretty cool is it has a co-op mode to it, so that's fun. And yeah, it is sort of like an action. I mean, it's both. It's kind of turn-based. No, it's got random battles, but it is like action focused. But you are like locked into like, yeah. So I'd say it's like a 70% action. So you're gonna have a good time with it. I don't know how it's gonna work with your schedule because it's a long game. Like it ain't no GKC2. Knock it out in an afternoon. Like you're gonna be playing this for a while. So yeah. But
Yeah, I
think you're gonna have a good time.
Who knows if I'll be able to beat it in a week? Probably not. But I'll probably, if I can't beat it in a week, I'll probably revisit it and try to beat it. But usually based on the podcast, I play a game for a week and do a retrospective. But so that was the games. And then as far as guest plugs go, I know Lacey, you have a Twitch that you would like to plug.
I do. I play D&D and Daggerheart. Both of those once a week with some very dear friends. And that is twitch.tv/ the unhumble bard, and same place on YouTube. And yeah, so we play Daggerheart and D&D. It's real play, real time. Thursday, Sunday nights at 10 p.m. EST. Join us and watch us be totally silly and absolutely ridiculous.
Are you playing until like 2 a.m.?
No, luckily. Well, oh my God, what's today? Saturday? So Thursday we played until like 12:30 and I was absolutely dying. But but for the most part, we usually finish up within about 2 hours just because we're all adult humans and some of us with kids and like real life responsibilities. But yeah, we accomplish things. We move things move along pretty quickly. So we're playing D&D 2024 rules on Sundays and then Daggerheart on Thursdays. So and it's pirates. So if you want to watch pirates and us being pirates with like 8 people, which is insane. Join us. It's a good time.
That sounds fun. I might tune into that and see, if I'm awake. I will be awake because I live on the West Coast. Yeah. So
watch us for a little bit at the very least. Say hey.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. And Marcus, you said you don't have any plugs, right?
No.
Okay. You're not like a million YouTuber Like,
No, not at all. I have no social media presence,
yeah,
or like no streaming presence. So I'm just a guy who likes games.
just do some Donkey Kong Country 2 speed runs. That'd be cool.
I mean, I do time myself. So like I do have like a notepad document that I write my times on, and like I try to like shave off a minute every time I play. Although I've been getting old because my last 4 times were all like a minute or 2 longer, and I'm like, what is this what aging is? Like I can't, like my previous times of like an hour 59 minutes, etc. are now like long gone. Like I'm at my last one was 2 hours 7 minutes, and then the one that I did before just before this podcast, I did 2 hours and 3 minutes. So at least I'm faster. But yeah, but that's only twice a year. So if I play it any more than that,
Oh,
it
that's
gets boring.
great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty fast. I think it took me like 6 hours, I want to say, to beat the game.
And that's without the bonus content. Remember, like
and that's without it.
Yeah, which like I say the way that the bonus levels work is that like they are the easiest bonus level is still harder than the hardest regular level.
No. Okay, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah.
No,
and,
so
like,
I shan't be doing that.
yeah. So I mean, I play games pretty sporadically. Like as an adult, like finding time for it is hard. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is. It is hard with work, and if you have kids, or if you have wife, or if you have anything, like it gets burdensome for sure. But it's good. Life is good if you can make it good. But yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming on the show. I really appreciate all your input, and thank you for replaying the game, Lacey, and I would thank you, Marcus, for being the guest speaker and just like having all this insight and knowledge. You guys have been really awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Literally anytime, dude. This was so fun.
Yeah, and whenever I get my voice up and up and running, you'll hear more of my bad takes. Trust me, I got plenty of them.
No, they're perfect takes. We love them.
Yeah,
I mean,
I appreciate bad takes over like bland takes. Like if I don't agree with your take, I prefer that over like, oh, it's fine. Oh, I liked it. Oh, it's okay. I'm like, yeah, that's it. It was fine. Okay, cool. You sound like a person who was very uninteresting. So
yeah,
everything is fine.
If you don't mind bad takes, then you're at the right place because you're gonna get a lot of those.
It's all bad takes.
It's gonna be 99% bad takes, and then most of it's gonna be mad because bad for sure. All right, awesome. So thank you. Well, folks, that's game over for this episode of Retro Reloaded. Thanks for joining me on this retro adventure. If you loved today's trip down memory lane, then consider helping me keep the nostalgia alive by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/retro reloaded. You'll get early episodes, bonus content, and a chance to pick the next game that we reload. Feel free to let me know your thoughts about the podcast, and until next time, keep those controllers charged.